Hello, YouTube. It is your Astro Coach Sarah here for basically your Christmas and New Year's astrology. So of course in these videos I am doing astrology, tarot, oracle. I don't have a crystal this week, but I do have an oil, herb, spice for support. And if you wanted to close up the year doing some journaling, I would really do some deep dive journaling into what you have healed this year. What have you healed? Like, not just intentions or goals that you have accomplished, but like the accomplishment of 2025 is going to be around healing, um, and what you have moved through, what emotions have you moved through, mental blockages, things like that. And so I would say if you wanted to do some journaling around that, and then of course do some journaling around setting some intentions for 2026. I am not a resolutions girl. It does not align with me. I'm an intentions girl. And because intentions allow you the opportunity to um, move through versus resolutions, you kind of start at the gate and you go versus intentions where you have the opportunity to kind of set the stage, get yourself, clear the energy of what doesn't serve to meet those intentions, those sorts of things. That being said, during the week between Christmas and New Year's, it is kind of a good opportunity with all these planets in Capricorn. It'll be Mars, the Sun, and Venus, sorry, in Capricorn. It is a good opportunity to get grounded in your long term, like what serves you, what supports you. And I say that because I have an intention that hopefully I will fulfill during the last of the year sales. So, but anyway, it really is a good opportunity to kind of like, we've had this, intense last few months that felt like they snuck right past us, but there was a lot of healing going on and a lot of opportunity to heal during these last few months. That Mercury retrograde was pretty intense. It was very emotional. It probably dug at you a little bit. We still have some transits that are digging at us, so don't expect like, an overnight like things happen type of thing. In order to bring something into fruition or manifest, you do have to clear energy and clear space for those things to come into being. And that could be clearing your physical environment or your headspace, or whatever that looks like for you. Clearing time in your calendar, less doom scrolling, more actively pursuing things. So let's take a look at the charts for Christmas Day, for New Year's Day, just to give you an idea of where the planets are and what's going on. And then we'll get into the rest of the stuff. All right, so I don't know about y'all, but I know a lot of people who are not doing Christmas, as in not opening presents on Christmas morning, not really doing a big, huge thing for Christmas this year. I think that's a sign of the times. I don't think that it's, and if you're doing a Christmas and you have littles and you're doing a whole Christmas gift thing, no shame, right? I have zero, like nothing, but I am not doing Christmas this year. Part of the reason that I don't go home for the holidays is typically weather related. Now, this year, well, we didn't know this 2 weeks ago, but this year it looks like the weather is going to be good. But typically, I don't go home for the holidays because they're during crappy weather times and I don't, nobody wants to drive respectfully. So I don't really frown upon the fact that I don't do Christmas. I haven't done Christmas a lot in my life for various reasons. But anyway, so I know other people who are not doing Christmas. They're maybe doing a Christmas Eve gift thing with their family, but again, no shame if you, no shade if you are doing Christmas. I have nothing against it. I just don't have the family that needs to do Christmas on Christmas anymore. Um, and so, but looking at this chart, we have the moon in Pisces. This is midday Central Time. The moon will conjunct the North Node and eventually move on to conjuncting Saturn and Neptune. So the moon's going to be in Pisces. We have Jupiter retrograde in Cancer, squaring Chiron retrograde in Aries. Let's take a look at that. So Jupiter squaring Chiron. Chiron in Aries has been exposing our individual wounds. Whether we like it or not, they've been exposed. And Jupiter, who amplifies everything, exalted in Cancer, which is all about nurturing and maternal things. Um, and the moon being in Pisces, this holiday season could really dig up a lot of ick and icky feelings that people don't want to feel, right? And after we had that Mercury retrograde, now we are well beyond Mercury being out of shadow at this point, but that Mercury retrograde that we had in November in Scorpio, and it also crossed paths with Jupiter and Cancer as well. But we're really having to face a lot of our wounds. And that moon being in Pisces, it's like with Saturn and Neptune being there, there could be a lot of relapse on this Christmas if someone has a substance abuse type situation. Um, and so, those are the people that I mostly can, or there's like that self-isolation, Pisces being about isolation or self-imprisonment, like you're choosing not to do Christmas or other holidays out of spite, out of anger, out of a wound that you refuse to address. So you tend to lean towards what you feel comfortable with, which might be a substance. And I say substance like it could be drugs, it could be alcohol, but it also could be overeating, overindulging, to the point of making yourself sick. Um, and in perhaps a way to get attention because that's your wound is seeking attention. And whether it is good or bad intention or positive or negative attention, you like attention and you're not getting any this holiday season. So you resort to or resign to the thing that you're comfortable with is your addiction, your imprisonment, your self-imprisonment, your self-isolation, all of those things. So don't be surprised if this is a difficult holiday week for many people. Um, you know, it could be. That being said, at the top of the chart, you can see Venus, the Sun, and Mars in Capricorn and Mercury in Sagittarius. I actually like this Capricorn stellium we're getting. I love some Capricorn energy. I feel like I get way more done. I'm way more productive during with planets in Capricorn. Sorry, Mars is exalted in Capricorn. The Sun's not so favorable there, and Venus is really grounded there. So this is what I say, do some post-Christmas shopping, but don't just willy-nilly, frivolously go shopping, but buy things that you need, practical things. Venus is finances, Capricorn is like long haul type stuff. So I have definitely been eyeballing something for a long time, and I'm about to probably make that investment after during these end of year sales. God willing, there's an end of year sale on the item. If not, I'm probably going to do it anyway. And that's kind of the thing. Like, I'm going to wait and see what the sales look like, but am I going to probably buy the thing anyway? Yes, because it's something that I have been wanting for a long time. I worked really hard to um, have the finances available for it. And so here we go. But Mars is exalted in Capricorn, the Sun, Venus being in Capricorn. It's like, particularly if you are a Libra rising, Libra rising, putting Capricorn in your fourth house, making a good investment for your home might be really something that aligns for you right now. Um, something like that. If you have Capricorn in the sixth, you're a Virgo rising, this could be about your daily routines. Wait, did I just do that right? Fifth house. Sorry. So let me rewind that. Can I rewind on here? Can I rewind the recording? Virgo rising Capricorn in the fifth house, which is about your creativity, and having some long-term creative goals, whatnot. Leo would be Capricorn in the sixth house, so it's health, daily routines, things like that. So if you don't have a workout routine or you don't have a routine with your finances, balancing your checkbook if you still do that, having a routine around budgeting, having a routine around your daily routines and what you actually need to be doing to have consistent income to invest in the things you want to invest in, that sort of thing. So I feel like with this stellium building up in Capricorn that we're going to continue to see through the first part of 2026, It's really a good opportunity to know where Capricorn is in your chart and to know where to focus that energy to, really capitalize on where it can take you. I had said it in the 2025 yearly forecast, that, by beginning of 2026, you might get a surprise that you didn't anticipate. A lot of that had to do with this Mars, Venus, and eventually Mercury stacking up in Capricorn and giving us kind of a, you've worked really hard, here's your reward, but it's not going to come if you didn't work really hard to shed some skin, shed some layers, shed some wounds, maybe expose something about yourself that you didn't want to confront or face. And now comes the reward for that. So, anyway, that's Christmas. Again, I think it can be a shaky Christmas for some people. Kind of depends on how much work you've done. It kind of depends on where Pisces, Aries, Cancer is in your birth chart, that sort of thing. But otherwise, good timing for like not so emotional investments, but like good longevity type investments. So that would be that Mars, Venus in Capricorn. Let's move ahead to December 31. 30. I'm actually going to advance the chart by hours because I want you to see something. Okay. Whoop. I've just gone too far. Probably not. Let's see. Where are we at? Nope, this is perfect. So this is in the overnight hours, the 30th into the 31st. The moon is so this is very early morning New Year's Eve. Um, The moon is at 27 Taurus conjunct Uranus. I have something to say about all of the flooding and seismic activity up in the Pacific Northwest. Of course, there's been a lot of flooding up there. Areas that I was just at on my trip are now raging rivers. And so north of Seattle, there's a lot of dangerous flooding, evacuations. There's been some earthquakes in the Cascades, that sort of thing, and flooding in western Montana, an area where we were. Not the bridge that we were on, thankfully, has not been taken out, but it is a raging river now where we had been in September, mid-September, when we drove from Montana to Washington. Um, and so this moon conjunct Uranus early New Year's Eve day. Crossing paths with Uranus. This is also in a sextile to Neptune in Pisces. Um, really wouldn't surprise me if we see some sort of activity that morning in the overnight hours. And so just if you live in that region, have your bug out plan. Hopefully everyone's already doing that. I think no matter where you live right now, that was part of my need to relocate so that I could have an opportunity to bug out if I needed to. So, being prepared, having a support system, having a network of folks that you can call and be like, hey, things are getting weird in where I live, and I need you to come and pick me up so that so personally, this is personal for me. I am legally blind. I am a woman, and I want to have people around me who can protect me because I, in certain situations, cannot protect myself because I can't see what's going on. And so case in point, like climbing mountains. Obviously, that's not something I'm going to do by myself because I can't see the cliffs, and I can't see all of the rocks, and I can't see all of the places that are, dangerous for me to be. And we were actually in bear country, and so I needed people who could see to see if there was a bear. We did not see any bears, but we were definitely alert to the fact that we could have encountered a bear. And knowing what we needed to do to protect ourselves if that happened. And so I learned a lot. I've never been in an area where bears could come out on your hiking trail. So I learned a lot, but I did not ever feel unsafe because I had people with me. And that's what I'm suggesting to you is that yes, you may not be in a region that is currently affected by geographic seismic activity or flooding or whatever. You may not be affected by that right now, but I want you to think about that. And I'm not trying to fear monger. I am really wanting you to just have an awareness that as we move through this and collectively we're all shifting and changing, our world is shifting and changing, so therefore is our earth that we live on is changing. And so as we get into the 31st, this moon coming in with Uranus, moon controls water. Uranus is earth, or is the sky god, so it affects the skies. Um, it also shakes things up and disrupts things. It's in Taurus, which is earth. And then Neptune in Pisces, oceans, depths, waters, things like that. Saturn's, of course, still in Pisces too. And so, would not surprise me if we see some kind of activity early overnight, the 30th into the 31st. So just be prepared. Be prepared. And as we move into 2026, I think that more be prepared. Let's move ahead a bunch of hours. Um, that's 8 p.m. I think I did the exact midnight chart. Um, oh, there, it's at midnight. Okay. This is midnight on January 1, 2026. Holy shit, he made it. The moon's going to be in Gemini. Mercury's going to be finishing up in Sagittarius. So this is pretty super social. Looks like there's a Libra rising on the chart as well. Of course, this is in Illinois. This is pretty social. I kind of like this chart. This could be, a really fun evening. If you're, going out and doing something New Year's Eve. I'm not a New Year's Eve person. I don't party like that. I sit home and watch movies or read a book. I'm actually usually trying to finish my reading goal. That's what I've done the last few years, but I well surpassed my reading goal this year, so I may not be doing that. Um, but I will definitely be curled up with something, some tea or something, or some hot cocoa. Or finish it up by fitness goals. But yeah, Gemini moon, chatty. Things happening pretty quickly. Mercury, yes, not in his favorable spot of Sagittarius, but still bringing some chat to the conversations and things like that. Still got the planets, of course, in Capricorn, so hopefully that'll keep people kind of grounded, and whatnot through holiday events. So anyway, that's how we're going to end the year with the moon in Gemini. That's how we're going to begin the year with the moon in Gemini. Um, so anyway, have you met your intentions this year? Did you meet your fitness goals, your health goals, your reading goals? I've pretty much surpassed most of my goals for 2025. I can tell you that there will be a Facebook post about this, but I have lost 10 pounds since I got my scale, which I got the scale in June. Um, and so I can say that one of the things that I have done pretty diligently, minus like being on a 7 week trip, is meal prepping. I have like glass meal prep containers. So I meal prep. I have breakfast bowls that I meal prep and stick in my freezer that have like a meat, potato, cheese, and I just have to add egg to them. Um, but I meal prep. And even if my meal prepping is not like any kind of meal, like diet plan or whatever, like I still at least meal prep and portion out my stuff. And so I'm going to credit that and I've been pretty consistent with fitness. Now, a sizable amount of me losing 10 pounds was the hiking trip, but I've been able to kind of keep that up and continue to, lose more weight since the trip. And so I have some intentions for 2026. And so I did get a smart scale. It does connect to my phone. I'm pretty sure it's accessible with voiceover and whatnot. So if you're interested in investing in a smart scale, it gives you a ton of metrics, the most of which I don't understand, but it's actually really helpful to see like yes, I've lost weight, but I haven't increased like my muscle mass. Yes, I've lost weight and my BMI has gone down, but like I need to still, drink more water or whatever it is, right? So there's things that I have changed that I want to keep working on, and there's things that I need to work more on, like weightlifting and stuff like that, protein intake, things like that. But um, meal prepping, you can get glass meal prep containers that are freezer safe, oven safe, et cetera, et cetera. I have a couple of different sizes of them, and I have like port compartment one, like I have two compartment ones. I'm getting some larger ones so that I can do like egg roll in a bowl and rice bowls and stuff like that. And so yeah. So that leads me to the oil for the week, which is black pepper. Um, Black pepper is actually really great. If you combine it with turmeric, it helps to absorb turmeric. Turmeric is an anti-inflammatory, but black pepper or even red peppers, like not just like red bell peppers, but like if you use like a chipotle seasoning or something like that. I put black pepper in pretty much everything at this point, or paprika. I love paprika, smoky paprika. It's my fave. But I also use black pepper along with the paprika because they do hit different parts of your palate. Um, but the advantage of when you use pepper, black pepper, or even chipotle, or like hotter peppers, like as hot as you can tolerate them, is it actually helps your metabolism. So I know people who do like lemon water with red pepper flakes. I don't recommend that, but hey, if that's you, you go do you, boo. I cannot do that. I have some spicy teas that I love when I'm super congested because that's when I can't taste them. But it does help clear things out. I just got some hot honey, which I may or may not like yet. We'll see. I'm about to put it on some roasted sweet potatoes this week for meal prep. But anyway, yeah, so black pepper, get the peppercorns and a good pepper grinder. I have a hand grinder. I am definitely not a hold it and let the battery operated doohickey do its, no, I just want to hand grind pepper and salt. Um, but anyway, so black pepper is the oil for the week. Let's get some tarot cards going. Hang on one second. Lock the iPad. Okay. I have to tell my iPad to lock itself because my lock button on my iPad no longer operates. So, there needs some new tech. My tech is getting a little bit old. Let's see what the tarot has for the end of the year 2025. Let's see what's going on. If you follow me over on TikTok, I have been doing the tea advent calendar. There's been 2 videos a day talking about the tea I'm drinking. I think I'm going to continue that after I finish the advent calendars on the 25th. I think I'm going to continue doing the tea and chat. I kind of like it. Kind of fun. Um, So yeah, maybe I'm gonna do tea and chat and post it on all the platforms just to do that. I've been doing accountability posts over on my Sarah Salin Fit Life Instagram account to say that I have been outside because I really can be a hermit and not go outside. It's very easy for me to be a hermit, but I don't like to be a hermit. I like to get outside. It's good for my mental health, no matter what the weather is doing. It is actually really good for my mental health to be outside. Even if I go outside and I can only walk around the parking lot because it has snowed or it's freezing, it is still better for me to get outside than to not get outside. So I learned that when I was in Arizona and I tried to get away with it in the Midwest, not doing it. It's not happening. I need to get outside every day. Sometimes that happens in the dark. It legit does. Okay, let's see what we got going on. Let me get a camera so I can see things. And this looks like the Five of Wands upright. Um, the Five of Wands upright. I've seen this before. Um, but it almost looks like an outcast situation. I may look up the definition in my tarot workbook. Yes, I have one because I took a class and I'm still not confident in reading tarot. So we're going to look it up and make sure I have the right definition of the card. Oh shoot, I just opened the wrong file. Um, where are you? I know you're in here. There it is. Tarot 101. Okay. So 5 of Wands upright. Pretty sure. 5 of Wands upright. Yeah, struggle. Um, struggle, but you have the upper hand. Tension. Um, combative. Training, conflict. Need to get it together. Um, battle within. Okay, I like this because battle within, like the struggle within, like many of us are not where we want to be because we're struggling within our own head. And I have been there, done that. And I can tell you that allowing yourself the time and the space to, like, this is what I do. You don't have to do what I do, but I would say do something like this, having an inner dialogue between yourself, your wounded part of yourself, whether it's your wounded child, wounded teenager, having that dialogue and then calling in your higher self and having your higher self handle the little kid. I that is a practice that I do. I do it laying still in my bed with nothing, no music, no nothing. I just lay in my bed and allow the dialogue to take place between my higher self and my wounded child. Because there's a lot of things that your wounded child's throwing temper tantrum about because he doesn't understand, and you may not have the articulate vocabulary to explain what's going on and why it's okay that we're doing what we're doing in the current so you call in your higher self to kind of settle the kid down, help the kid understand that we're safe now. We know how to make decisions now. We know how to deal with emotionally intense situations now. We have this emotional intelligence. So if you're having this battle within yourself, take some time to allow the wounded part of you, Chiron retrograde in Aries, squaring Jupiter retrograde in Cancer, to like take the time to hear your inner child who's hurting, who's scared, who's keeping you from doing what you want to do. Okay. The inner battle is between you and your younger self that's pissed off, that's frustrated and throwing a fucking fit. Okay. If you want to know more about working with your inner child, highly recommend Abigail Rose Gazda here on YouTube. She does a lot of work with healing inner child stuff. I can do it, but I'm going to do it with astrology. So obviously you can get a reading with me. I do have full chart readings. I have the AstroGoals reading, which is free. It's 30 minutes, but it's sun, moon, rising, Mars, Venus, or Mercury, and it's only gonna cover one thing. So if you want a full chart reading, we can actually look at your Chiron and your Saturn and see what makes sense about them. Yeah, so that's the tarot. Let's look at and that's what's gonna, I mean, if you don't address the situation that's going on in your head, like what you're thinking about, why you're beating yourself up all the time, why you're constantly battling with yourself, why you've got this head game going on with yourself. Addressing that now will only be beneficial for you by the time we get into February, April, beyond. So I got out the Woodland Wardens deck that felt really aligned now that we're in Capricorn season. So let's see what the critters and the plants have to say to us. I did not get a crystal this week. I did not do that. I apologize. Um, I'm not a crystals person, and honestly, I don't always feel comfortable talking about crap I don't know things about, which is why I'm gonna keep it at tarot and not do all kinds of overwhelming shit that would make me not want to do videos and lose my confidence and da 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 da. Hmm. Um, okay. So we got um the wolf and the rose hip. That's an interesting combination. Guardianship. Oh, wolf and rose hip. So many of my teas have rose hips in them. Um, the wolf, yeah, guardianship. This is not about external guardianship. And the reason that I wanted to use this deck is because I want you to really feel into, do some research around like what the rose is doing in Capricorn season. Go find the Bette Midler song. You know what I'm talking about. The Bette Midler song talks about the rose. Um, Actually, I think it's even titled The Rose. Um, but what is the wolf doing this time of year? What are many animals doing this time of year? What is the rose doing this time of year? Most of the critters and plants are hibernating and or they're like, I don't know what the term is, sub is that subterranean, like under the ground. This the, their seeds, their roots, they're focused on that as the ground is frozen, as we're in the darkness, right? There's not a lot of sun, there's not a lot of warmth for the rose to bloom and show its petals. And I'm guessing that wolves probably hibernate like many other wild animals this time of year. They're keeping in an igloo of sorts, if not a real igloo, because snow is actually an insulator. And so um, it's one of those things like if you're snowed in, you're snowed in, right? Use it as an insulator to keep yourself warm. Guardianship, be your own guard, but also know that you don't have to do it alone. Guardianship does not have to mean, it's kind of like I talked about earlier, like I made sure that I was in a place where I would be protected, right? Or at least have people around me who could protect me because I'm legally blind and I can't see things. So it's important to me to not only guard myself and know who to trust that will guard me, it's important for me to protect myself, right? To keep myself hardy, to keep myself in shape so that I don't have to be solely supported, for like hiking mountains, right? Like I didn't hold somebody's hand and hike mountains. That's not how it went. Occasionally I did, but mostly no. Mostly it was watch, there's a rock, step up and over it, or there's steps and there are rocks. How to navigate those was kind of on me to move my feet so that I could navigate them. Okay. My brother and my sister-in-law did not hold my hand to navigate. Pretty sure Jeff was pretty solely against ever holding my hand. He's like, I'm not going to do it for you. He did do it when it was necessary, guys. Okay. He's not an ass. Um, anyway, um, so really feel into that. What are the animals and the plants doing right now? And therefore, like, as you are moving through this time and space, know what you need to ask for, what you maybe need to invest in. Do you have an extra backpack that's full of clothes and toiletries and, you know, necessary things that you might need should you need to bug out? Okay. Again, not trying to fearmonger, just trying to create awareness around there are going to be maybe times when we each need to bug out in some way, shape, or form. So, anyway, all right. Happy holidays, everything. I think Hanukkah is already underway. So, happy Hanukkah, happy Christmas, happy New Year. I will see you very shortly in the new year to talk about what's coming in 2026. Yeah, take care. Have a great one.